Alright guys, so I'm here today in the XPENG showroom to show you the newly released GX 6-seater SUV. Let's start the review from the top. I don't like the long introduction, so let's look at the windshield. It has a relatively flat windshield and you can see some black bezels around the windshield. And integrated in the windshield there are some cameras for safety and the autonomous driving functionality. These days those cameras do a lot. And then we come to the bonnet area. The top is flat and then on the side you have some curves and then it drops to the side, but overall a really nice design. This paint scheme I would say is similar to what VW did with the Terramont here in China. In the American market is called Atlas. Is this brownish textured, not smooth paint. And then we come to the badging area. You get an XPENG badge, but this one is not complete aluminum. You can see on the edges, on the sides, it has this sort of bronze or gold color finish on the edges, on the sides of the logo. And then we come down to the front. So if you look at the front, it looks a little bit similar to the VW ID Era 9X because VW and XPENG are in this collaboration agreement, so I'm sure we will see bits and pieces of similarity between this and the new ID Era 9X, which I reviewed on my channel a little earlier. You can check out that video. And then we come down here, you get your number plate placement area where you see the GX. Underneath it you see a camera and then I believe a LiDAR sensor down there. And then on this side you have your proximity sensors sitting on this brown part, and as you go down below you see some air inlets which are closed and only open when cooling is needed. This car comes in full electric and also range extender version depending on what you want, so it's nice that you're giving all the options. So if I just step back again, we can see the full profile of the car. And then we go on down here, you got this piano black surrounding the main head beams. And unlike the ID9 era, which has the lighting assembly in the middle, this one is kind of a little bit lower than that, and it's going to illuminate the road really well. You can see your beams going on there. Really nice lighting design. It's a whole assembly. And then you got XPENG design on there, and then you got your daytime running lights all across the front, and then it only breaks up here and there for your autonomous driving blue illumination, which has become an industry standard here in China. And you have a Frunk. So this is the Frunk area, and it's not electronic. You have to open it inside, and then you got gas struts to support it. And once it's open, you got brake fluid refill area, very clearly indicated. And then you also have a wiper fluid water refill area, all nicely indicated. And how flat the top looks, very clean design, plastics. And then you have some storage area here, not very big, not the biggest I've seen, but it's usable for backpacks and little suitcases and things like that, things that you feel it will be appropriate to store in here. So yeah, overall very nice front storage area. And let me go on to the side. So you got another proximity sensor extending to the side as well. Looking at the tire department, this one comes with Michelin tires, Primacy 5 Energy. Nice, very good tires, sitting on these very lovely rims that are going to be very easy to clean. A combination of black and chrome finish. And then you got your XPENG badge in there, and in there you got your air suspension going on there, which is something normal on many Chinese cars now. And if we go to the side, we got a camera here, and then we got another XPENG badge in there sitting on this nice, it's not aluminum, it's plastic trim facing backwards. And on the rearview mirror you have two cameras here, one camera there, and a sensor down here. And then you get a turn signal light, which also doubles as your blue autonomous driving illumination. And then on the mirror itself you have NFC entry, so you just scan your card or your phone and you can have access to the car. The days of having physical key fobs are becoming a thing of the past. There's a car here, so I can't stand on the side, but standing at this angle you can see the full length of the car. And then we come down here. You see how wide the doors are. This, I believe, will measure a little over a meter, and the rear would be definitely over a meter for sure, like a meter and a half. And if we go down here, you can see there's a break here in the trim, and there's this trim slapped on, and then it continues down here, and then on the bottom is another piano black material, but it all feels very solid. And then we come here and you have your obviously pop-out style door handles. And if we look at the rear view mirror, I like that the mirror is flush with the edge of the housing, so you're not going to have debris and stuff going on. As long as it has heated mirrors, it's going to be heated and get the water off as you drive on rainy days. And then here clearly indicated is your blind spot monitor indicator here. And you can see the windows are blacked out from factory for the rear, but the front is kind of transparent. That makes sense for safety. And just like on the ID.9 era and on the Nissan NX8, which I've reviewed on my channel as well, you can see that many brands are moving away from that chrome trim or black trim that used to be here between the body of the car and the glass, the window. Now they're just curving the metal body to meet the window. It gives it a very nice look, I would say. And we go on to the rear and it's similar, but you can see that there is a black panel going all around the window. So when you look down, you see a whole different tone of the color. And when you look up from afar, it looks like a one glass piece. You only see these seals when you get closer, so it makes it look really clean and really nice. Let's go to the rear tires. So same 285/40 rim 22 tires as the front, and the rear wheels have rear steering as well. So even though the car is long, you're going to have a very short turning circle when you're at those U-turns or runabouts. So that's really cool. And a complete air suspension system I already mentioned. And if you look at this design, it's not one of those that some plastic has been slapped onto the edges of the wheel well. It's part of the body of the car, so it's increased slightly, giving it that feel. So when you're far away, you might think it's an extra material, but it's the same material that is in there. And underneath here you have some nice carpet material to help with sound deadening, looking really nice. And if we go to the edge of the back, you can see how it looks like. Your proximity sensors start from here. You got chrome material down there, and then you go on to the back and you can see your daytime running light design that they use for the front is the same design that is coming on the rear with the same autonomous driving strip light in there. And then you get the solid daytime running light, and underneath it you have these three thin ones running all across as well. Up here you have your XPENG badging in letters. You get a blacked out window from factory, and you got a brake light bar on the top running from the left all the way to the right. And obviously you have a wiper hiding in there. And it's interesting that they don't include a camera here, because most brands put a camera here. And the cameras have been brought way down where you press to open the boot, and there are two cameras here. I believe one is to feed the mirror inside the car so you can see your traffic behind you, and this one may be also for safety. And then you have a real but physical button to open your boot, but I believe there are other ways to open it. Get a number plate placement area, and then you get a piano black material sitting here, not just one straight piece, but it has some curvature there, and it goes all the way. And then you also down here you have your reverse lighting, fog lighting, and then reflectors here. It's on both sides, so one on the left and one on the right. So this one being the full electric version, you can see there's no exhaust pipe, and it has a really clean build underneath, very good clearance as well. Like I said, you can get a range extender version, and then you have GX Ultra badging here. And as we go on to the right side, it's going to be similar to the left side of the car. You have your charging area here. To open it, you just press that, you hear a click, and then it opens electronically, and it reveals your ports for fast and slow charging. And it's interesting that they don't have light indicator here, but to shut it, you just press that expand button, and then it shuts automatically, and it goes back really fast as well. So let's go and continue with the boot. So to open the boot, we just press that, flashes, and then it opens, and it opens quite wide, I would say, very, very high. Even for my height, I have to lift my hands to be able to reach it at a height of 183 centimeters. So it's really nice that they have it. I'm sure you can set the levels. If people who are short should be able to access it because it seems too high. So I'm sure there's a way to set the levels. But once it opens really, really wide. And you can see the inside of the boot lid is plastic. That's fine. And we come to the main boot area. Let's take a look at the buttons before we come to the space. So you got rear boot lighting, one on the right and one on the left as well. With buttons, you have with air suspension, you have this button to raise and lower your air suspension, and then you have this button here, these two buttons here for right and left third row seats to collapse them. But it's interesting because when you press it, this headrest goes down before the seat falls over. So let me just demonstrate that. So if I press the one for the right, you can see the headrest going down before the seat itself goes down. So that's nice. That is a one-click button that does both functions, and it goes down relatively fast as well. And to get it back up, I just pull it, and then there's very tiny 1 second delay, but it rises quite fast as well. And when it gets to the top, this headrest will go up to the position you set it before. And then we go to the left side, you got another boot lighting like I mentioned, and you got a button here. I believe that's the one to set the height of the boot lid like I mentioned before. You got a hook here to hold things up to about 3 kilograms, and then you got a 12-volt socket here for those electronic devices or just to hoover the inside of a car. You got power right there. You got two tie down hooks here, one on this side and one on that side. Very solid aluminum feeling tie down hooks. And then interestingly, unlike many cars that will have like a false floor and you lift it to reveal extra space, this one goes straight to give you that whole area. So this is a very neat feature, I believe. So if you're going to load it up, you have more than enough real estate from where the false floor starts to even underneath the third row seat. So that's a really nice design, and it's not just straight on this side. It has this curvature which is going to give you enough room for loading up your stuff. The only downside to this that I see is to take heavy things out or to drop heavy things in, you need a bit more strength because it's not flat and it doesn't look like provision has been made for a false floor. So this is what you get. You're going to have a lot more space, but just know that to get things out, heavy things out, you're going to need a lot more strength. And then on the edge, I like that this lip area is not too long, so it's not going to be too difficult. I believe that's why it's short, so that people can lift things in and out easily. You got these metal runners here to prevent scratching and also to help slide things in easily. So overall, a really nice design of the boot area. When you open the boot lid, you have extra brake lighting turning on for safety. This became a safety standard some years back. So the main lighting is on the boot. When it's open, there's secondary lighting here to notify vehicles coming from behind. So overall, a really nice design. So to shut it, I just press the boot lid and then it goes down and shuts automatically. Now let's continue with the rear. So if I open the door, it opens, I would say, up to about 80 degrees, and it's electronically aided as well. So it's going to help give you some help to open it. Even kids will be comfortable opening it. Let's look at the door. It has some really thick, nice seals here to prevent noise and debris from getting in the car. And even though the doors are wide, the windows are not the widest I've seen, but they're nicely blacked out from outside. And when you're sat inside, it's nicely opaque, so you can see out nicely. And then we look at up here, you got some netting, which is not automatic, unlike on the Zeekrs and other more expensive ones. This one is manually controlled, but hey, better have it than not. So here you have a speaker grill here, looking really nice. It's not just ordinary perforations, there's a design pattern to it, and you get this nice ambient lighting protruding from here, and you can see it's kind of like crystal sprinkled in there, but You don't feel any holes. They're just poking through this nice plastic panel here, and this one is coming through the nice Napa leather material. I like how they've done it because ambient lighting is not really to light the interior but to give it some beauty. So to give it a nice pattern like this makes a lot of sense. You have an area to hold to shut the door, and underneath there are some more ambient lighting as well. And then here you have your door pockets, very nice materials, a button to press and open your door. You got this one to raise and lower your windows, and then hidden in here are two buttons. When you press them, I'll show you in a second when I get in the car what they do. And then you got a latch here to open in emergencies. You got a woofer down here, all looking really nice. The insides are not lined with felt, but it's not hard plastic. It's got this nice leather red material, so things will not rattle about and be annoying. Once the door is open, you get a very nice easy entry area. Again, nice door seals here, and you got a board here as well to step into the car. And when we look on the seat itself, you got seat controls, you got calf support, you got seat forward and back, you got recline, you got your lumbar button, and then you also got these nice stitched seats, perforated for heated, cooling, and massaged, and they're really bouncy. You got isofix anchor points on all seats, even the third row seats. And then here you got some pillows for to support your neck, and the headrest for all seats have these speakers inserted, so you can direct sound or music or infotainment sound to individual seats so that you don't bother other passengers. And if we look on the armrest, you can see that it's got the seat controls here. So you got ventilator seats, all three levels. You got your heater seats, and then you got your massage, all three stage control. Dedicated armrest, and then if I press it, you can see it reveals your cup holders. So this one on this seat and one for the other passenger. This handrest is manually controlled, and then you can bring it back down. But the handrest on this seat, because usually passengers will come from this door to get onto the car, so you have a dedicated button here to lift the handrest quickly, because if you're down there, it's kind of hard to reach to it, and you can only get in the third row seat through this aisle here. So it makes sense that you have a button that you can just press and it makes way, and to get it back down, you just press that and it comes down electronically. I don't know if it's necessary, but the technology is around, so why not? So yeah, when you're sat in this seat, you have in front of you a dedicated table. This is nothing new on Chinese cars nowadays, very common. So there's one behind the driver, but there's none behind the front passenger seat. I'm not sure if it's an option you can go for, but you don't have it here. And we look here, you have two buttons here, one to shut the door and one to open. So if I press it, the door is going to shut. And to open it, I just press that again. So you can press that, or you can press the button here. Pardon me, it's kind of dark in here in this showroom. I'll try to do something with the lighting. And then if we look up here, I can see bits of designs of the ID9 Era 9X here, because they are collaborating. And if you look up here, you can see airplane style reading lamps. So you got your interior lighting, which is white LEDs, and then you also got your airplane style, which you can move forward and back. And this one I would think is for reading purposes. And I told you about these two buttons earlier. Let me show you what they do. So you can turn your windows opaque and transparent. So when I press it, you can see one click, and then it makes it transparent and darken as well. So you can do that. So that first button is for this window, but this one on the right will control for both windows. So if I press that, you can see the other side is also activated. So if you're sat behind the driver, you can control all the windows, the opacity of the windows for both the middle and the third row seats at once. So that's really cool. And if you need, so you can darken it, and if you need extra privacy or sunshade, you can pull these ones up manually. So yeah, it's not redundant, it's really useful. You got speaker grills up here on both sides, and I can see that this screen is probably the exact same thing that has been used on the VW ID Era 9X. So to get the screen down, there's a screen here which you use to control all the functions of the car if you're sat in the rear. To bring the screen down, I just go there and press that, and I'm able to guess that it's the same screen because this is exactly how the one in the ID Era 9X operates. The screen itself faces down. Some of them, when you return it to the screen part is in the roof, but this one still points downwards, and the mechanism looks similar. The screen size looks similar as well. I'll put the numbers on the screen, but I believe because of the collaboration, why not? They're using the same screen, I believe. And then to get it back up, you just press that, and then it goes back. It goes back into the roof automatically. And to get a fridge open, there's a fridge down here. To get it open, you just press this button, and then it's gonna come out, slide out electronically, and it's of a good size. It's not the biggest I've seen, but it's usable. And to get it back in, you just press that, and it's going to slide back in. So overall, really neat feature. Lots of functions you can do here. You can do your music controls, some for entertainment. You got some settings here. You got fan speed, seat controls. You can populate your downloaded apps. You can control your volume of your music and sound from here. So overall, done really nicely. This is not different from many other Chinese cars. It's quite common. And then you also have Type-C charging ports here. And underneath, I didn't mention underneath, you have storage area. You got a Type-C charging port here on this side as well. So if you're sat in the middle, this is where you're going to see. You got panoramic sunroof, comes from the back, breaks off in the middle for the screen, and then continues in the front. So front passengers have dedicated sunscreen, panoramic roof, and here panoramic roof as well. And you can see you got electronically operated sunshades, so if the sun is too strong, you can shut them by the press of a button. So that's nice. That it's not just one of those glass, they give you a glass and then nothing else. This one actually has sunshades. So sat here, this is what I'll see. Now let's move on to the third row seat. So sat here in the third row seat, you can see wrapped around this nice plastic panel which has all these ventilations going on, the air vents in there. You got ambient lighting all around it, going all around this whole panel. It continues in an egg-shaped form, so you got ambient lighting all around it. It's going to look beautiful at night. Up here on the C pillar, you have a hook here for hanging your clothes or whatever you want to hang here, and that seat is moved a little bit backwards. You can move a little bit forward, but 183 centimeters tall. My legs are just hitting, which means that if this seat moves forward a little bit, I can sit here for a long time. And I would say the seats are not cramped at all. I don't have enough thigh support, but my thighs are not hanging either, and they're really soft and supportive. If I show you the opposite seat, you can see that these are two full-size seats, so even adults will not be too uncomfortable here. Let's look at the buttons we have here. So up here we have one dedicated button to also change the opacity of only the windows in the third row seats. So that's nice that even the third row seats are not left out. You got a 60-watt charging port here, Type-C, which is nice. And then you also have a dedicated button for heated seats. No ventilation or massage on these third row seats, but you have heated seats here, and you also have seat recline buttons here. It's interesting that one of them controls the headrest and the other one controls the recline. So it's interesting that even the headrest is electronically controlled, and there's a dedicated button for it, and you can recline the seat and bring it forward. Again, pardon me for the darkness here. That's the situation of the showroom. And then here you have some ambient lighting here, and then you have a cup holder here. The cup holder has these grips to help prevent things from rattling about, and then you also have a speaker coming from here, so you're going to have good sound coming from all around the car. So the buttons you see here are the same buttons you're going to see on the other seat as well. Headroom is good as well. Sat here, 183 centimeters. I don't feel cramped in here. I have more headroom space. So if you're sat here in the third row seat, this is your view of the cabin, and it all looks really nice. This wouldn't be my favorite interior color to choose, but this is what is available in the store right now. The passenger behind the driver has a gravity seat function, so we see all the how it all happens. This is also not new. It's common on most Chinese cars now. You get a cowl support extending for comfort. Just by looking at the seat, you can tell this is going to be really comfortable to sit in. So it's a one press button, and if you want to recline it further, you can use the back rest button and recline it further upwards or downwards. And if you want to return it to the normal position, you press the other opposite button once again, and then it's all going to go back to its original position. And it's soft closed doors as well, so you only need to push it to touch and then it shuts by itself. So we're taking a look at the front passengers cabin area. So the door opens, I would say, up to about 85 degrees, and similar lighting going on there. Really nice. I like how it's been done. I'll say it again. You got one button to raise and lower your windows sitting on this nice wood trim here. You got a button to open and close, so it's double function. And you got a nice opening. The door design is practically similar. So let's continue with the buttons here. So you get the regular buttons here for cowl support, seat forward, slide forward and back, recline, lumbar support, and then you also get gravity seat function like I showed you a little bit earlier for the rear seats. And there's a lot of adjustments here. The seat is also quite jacked up from the floor, and then the seat itself is quite thick, so you're going to be set up high in this car. Once the door is open, the opening is very wide, I would say. And before I talk about anything else, let me just look at the center console. So as you can see, it doesn't go all the way like many cars. It stops right here. It gives you a lot more real estate. You can just slide some files or documents here, or anything that needs to stand, and then you still have the storage area down there. And over here you got two charging ports. So you got a type A and a type C, both type C 60 watts, which also doubles as your connectivity port, and then you also have another 12-volt socket right there. So if I just sit in the passenger seat, you get some air vents coming from here, and then you look up here, you get an aluminum trim here, and it slants, the dash slants upwards, and then you come to some ambient lighting area in there. Very complicated design, but it all looks nice. There's a speaker grill here, and then you have the upper dash area. Interestingly, this part is made of hard plastic, but down here is soft material, so that's nice. I like that they didn't put a screen in the front, so I believe it's going to be better for safety. That's my guess, because there's no screen in the front, so it's easy for the airbags to pop out in an emergency. And we look up here, we got microphone holes here. We got this flimsy sort of magnetic style vanity mirror cover, which I don't like very much, but that's what most are doing. But once it's down, you have this huge mirror. The mirror almost covers the entire surface of the sun visor, and you got lighting on both edges, so that's nice. You got a warning sticker here. You got a speaker grill up here. You got a grab handle here for those off-road days. I'm not sure if people take these cars off-road anyway. Alcantara all around. This one coming in this almost white color. I got good headroom. Obviously, I can move my seat further down. This is the furthest it will go, and you can jack it up. So for shorter passengers, you can move it up. But I don't think it's going to be necessary, because even on the normal setting, you have good leg room and you get good headroom as well. And I can almost stretch my feet and my legs, so that's nice. So now let's go and explore the driver's area. So here with the driver's door, it opens really wide as well, similar to what I showed earlier. And the driver has the basic buttons: seat recline, slide forward and back, lumbar support, and easy entry as well. The seat design is basically the same as that on the other side. Nicely perforated, nicely stitched. You got speakers in the headrest like I already mentioned. door design is the same. Obviously, the driver will have a bit more functionality. 4 buttons to shut and open all the windows, and then you got window lock, master lock button to press to unlock and lock the car. And if I just sit in the driver's seat, let me start from the top here. So you got a glasses holder, which is lined with felt. So that's nice. And then here you got your touch sensitive to you touch to activate your interior lighting. You got a hazard button, SOS button here. You got a camera here to monitor what's going on in the car, and you can see flashing here is a sensor also to do all the monitoring on your behalf. And then you have your interior rear view mirror, and it's currently taking the feed from the one of the cameras on the rear. And if you want to see what's happening in the interior of the car, you press that and it transforms into a regular mirror. So nice feature that most cars have nowadays. The same sort of vanity mirror like the passenger side. Again, you get 2 microphone holes up here, speaker grill on the top, and then we come down to the center area. So this is your center armrest. This is your cover for your fridge, and it also doubles as an armrest, and it just has the right amount of height for your hands. And then I like this design here. To open it, you just press that and it opens. And on the top here, there isn't enough space. There's this flat material here where you can place some bits and pieces, but when you lift it, you have access to the fridge. And interestingly, you have 2 doors here to open before you can get access to the fridge. So doesn't matter if you're in the front or the rear, you can access the fridge, and you can just shut these 2 doors and replace this cover here, and it's accessible from both sides because the button is in the middle. So you just press here to lock it. You also have 2 cup holders here, which you can raise and close if you don't need it. So if you don't need it, you can raise it up, and if you need it, you just press it down. And it has these grips here to hold things in place, so that's fine. You got 2 wireless charging pads here. Surrounding them is this ambient lighting design, really nice. It's not one strip, it's kind of this comb shape, and these will stop things from moving, so that's really cool. The wireless charging pads are ventilated as well. It's gonna prevent it from overheating. You have the dash continuing all the way to this side, so you have a narrow area, and then it kind of widens here. You got a HUD right here, which you can raise the level. And if we look down here, you got typical of XPENG, you have this nice screen here, which they have on their P7 and other models as well. And then the ambient lighting continues here as well, looking really nice. We come to the steering area. You got your turn signal indicator, which also doubles as your wiper stock. And then on the right side, you have your gear lever. And then you also have this almost rounded steering wheel, only flattened a little bit on the top and on the bottom. You get your horn area, you get a mode button selector here, and then you get another button here for extra functionality. You got a swivel here to change the temperature. So when I turn it, you can see a quick way to set your temperature. And then you also have this for volume controls, and then next back. And overall, very nice steering. You got some air vents coming from here, pointing directly, one here and one there. And then you get your screen here. So the screen is nicely curved, so it's not facing you directly. It's not straight, it's curved there. I'm just wondering on sunny days if the sun is not going to reflect on it. But I'm sure adequate testing has been done. But if you look at the screen itself, it's very nice, nicely illuminated, not too bright for the eyes, and it's very clear. It's definitely around a 3K, 4K resolution level. And then lots of things going on here. Obviously with XPENG you can change the language, but for the sake of time, let me just move forward. So you have dual zone climate control. You have a button here to touch to do all kinds of settings of the doors, the frunk, the boot, and all that. And then you got a 360 camera here. Even in the showroom, it's very bright. You got lots of functionality. I mean, Chinese cars these days will do anything. And then you also have nice mapping and you go there, you can populate your apps, downloaded apps. You can download extra. You got a quick area here for your music, and then you got climate control for the passenger, and then you got quick volume button here. And then up here you got your all your safety stuff. So you got your braking, your lighting indicators, seat belts, that kind of thing. And then on the right hand side is where you have your connectivity, range indicator, and all that, profile, and all those functions. So overall, a very nice design. And when you're sat in the driver's seat, this is what you see. And I got good headroom as well at my height. Very good headroom. I have to go way up before I hit the roof, and leg room is good as well. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you found this useful. If you did, don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel so we can grow it together. Till I see you in the next video guys, ride legal, ride safe always. Peace, and I'm out.